We're looking at practice clips from minicamp and OTAs, and today we're looking at the Carolina Panthers, looking at T-Mac again, but today we're talking about training camp in the future, what we want to see, during his rookie season, talking about the clips a bit, talking about what we see on the field, prospect profile. Before we dig in, though, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're looking at the practice clips. Rookie camp, minicamp, OTAs, in the books. We covered those. Training camp's on the horizon. It's going to be here soon. We're going to be covering the practice clips every day. Your rookies, guys you're drafting in fantasy football, guys you're placing bets on, guys you're climbing depth charts. The news is going to be here. You want to know what the players are doing on your favorite team? You want to know what that 7th round pick is doing? Click that button. Stop missing out. You want to know who your next starters are at? It's here. We're looking at T-Mac today. A lot to talk about. We've been talking about him a lot. Fun prospect, drafted in the 1st round. And he's not underrated, but you look at the ADP and stuff, and you're looking at traditional leagues, ADP best ball. He's a player that could be very sneaky this season. Very sneaky this season. Very sticky hands. Look who's sneaking in there. A little Hunter Renfrow action. But also creates separation. Very good for his height and length. Very twitched up. Very aggressive at the catch point. Fits well and makes sense for this wide receiver depth chart. Like, now you got your deep play, contested catch guy with a quarterback that's not afraid to throw it up, that's aggressive with it, that keeps his eyes downfield, that also, when you look at the ADOTs of the wide receivers last year, the guys primarily running routes, most of them are above 10. So he fits this mold. He fits this team. You want to watch these rookies ramp up. You want to give them time. I imagine things will look like a rookie first 3 to 5 weeks of the season. So imagine the first few weeks of the season will be anticlimactic, but out there. So if you're looking at that fantasy production-wise, I look for him to flash and to start flashing good by Halloween. By the time we're eating trick-or-treat candy, he's going to be flashing good. You're going to feel good going into 2026. I believe he's going to be usable and functional in fantasy. And I believe that's going to happen by the time we're eating trick-or-treat candy, and we're going to feel better about it more and more each week by the time we're carving turkey and buying stuff on Black Friday. If you're looking for fantasy football projections, if you're looking for just sheer stats, I do things game to game, week to week. That's just how I do it. So what I'm guessing here, and I guess the workload every week. And then when I guess the workload, I can give you a range due to the pace of play that's consistently going and due to who's in and out that week, weather and all that. But the workload is what you want to guess. So guessing, I'm expecting a ramp up. I do that. I give all rookies grace. I just do that. That's just part of the process, because you do not want to start throwing babies out with the bathwater when they're just trying to learn the process. So once he's established, once he's ramped up, I'm expecting an easy 20+% target share. I'm guessing 25-ish. I'm expecting that. I'm expecting him to be the team's target leader. I'm expecting him to get around 8 targets a game, and that's solid. And it could ramp up to more or less. But the number I'm looking at is the average depth of target with him. And I'm knowing, and I feel very good that he'll be in double digits. So the fact that he'll be in double digits and that 25% range once he's ramped up, that could be this season or approaching this season back in, but more likely 2026, but it could be earlier than expected, week 3 or something like that, due to what we're seeing on the offense. I like that a lot. And when I say double digits, I don't mean like 9.9 barely getting there. I think we're going to be like 12-ish, 12 to 13. Maybe 11 if you're trying to get him short targets and you're just trying to get him red zone looks, just to get him extra touches and targets and opportunities. That could reduce it a bit, but the volume will be up there. The 25-ish% target share will be approaching at that point, while the target share is ramping up while he's developing, because you still got Adam Thielen, you still got some vets there. You got Xavier Legette developing. You got Jimmy Horn Jr., who we've talked about. While that's ramping up and increasing to his veteran average, that's a new thing to say, we're going to see the ADOT be high, because where he excels at, getting deep downfield, nasty at the catch point, you're going to utilize that in your scheming. You're going to try and get him where he can win and also where he can help this team out. And he's very good at that. He's also very good for his size at breaking off routes, creating separation. It looks different with wide receivers of his height because physics. Physics works against him a little bit, but the fact that he's able to do it is an incredible feat because that just adds to the arsenal of being able to win vertically. Being able to win and be open while being covered is a trait that you're going to want. He fits well with this depth chart. You got your veteran wide receiver here with Adam Thielen. You got your UDFA from last year, Coker. Xavier Legette, long-term wise with McMillan, if you want to know what I think about that. I think Xavier Legette is a good, secret weapon out there that you'll move around. He's got that elite size, adjust athleticism. In the red zone, you got the opportunity to throw it up to T-Mac in the back corner, or Legette, you're using that speed to create matches right around that front boundary area of the red zone, just trying to break the man-on-man coverage or find the hole in the zone and getting out there quickly while being able to post up and trying to get around that big body. You have the ability to stretch it more vertically, and you got a guy on here too like Hunter Renfrow that can break off routes. Jimmy Horn Jr. is very twitched up. You got a little bit of everything now. That's the one thing. But the thing about this is your cornerstone piece. This is your cornerstone wide receiver who's going to be in the league for a long time contributing. That could be I'm not saying Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase, but could be one of those guys who's just a silent killer. As silent killer, Mike Evans is a silent killer. Earlier in his career, even though he was productive, you look at the stats, you're yeah, he's Mike Evans. He was a silent killer during there. He was being productive and people were looking at the stats. I think he's going to at least be a silent killer. I don't think downside is really there unless the injury bug hits. Unless the injury bug hits. Or something like that outside of control. I just don't see it. I think this is great for Bryce Young. Bryce Young and how he plays the game. Fast mental processor. We noted that during the draft process for him. Every year in camp we talk about that. Going over his fantasy profile. This is a guy with a fast mental processor that can keep his eyes downfield while manipulating the pocket and get it out there. This is a wide receiver that fits well. This is what he's been needing. I think he's the best wide receiver in the draft. He's the best wide receiver in this year's draft. I think this is a weaker wide receiver draft as well. So if you're looking at another wide receiver, thinking about wide receiver, pulling the trigger early is what you need to do in this year's class. That's what you needed. Luther Burden fell in this year's draft. So that was another guy I really liked in this year's class. But you're looking here at T-Mac. I think this is the wide receiver in this year's class that could be a year-in, year-out wide receiver one in fantasy. Is going to be a cornerstone piece to the Panthers. I think he's going to be a legit option, a legit threat. I think he's going to be a silent killer at minimum. I don't really see bust at all. I see him being a good, productive player. More than a role player, I look for him to be a cornerstone piece for a long time. If you're talking dynasty, the ADP's there. You're playing with that. Him versus those running backs. If you're needing a wide receiver this year, you better pull that trigger early. And he's a young wide receiver. The ADOT, the target share projected out, week in, week out lineup setting. When you're looking at once he gets that rookie ramp up finalized and we're in veteran status, we're ready to rock and roll. That's going to be great for setting lineups. That's going to be great. He's going to be dependable, but yet have upside. Very few down weeks to his name. And if there's down weeks, it's matchup, it's volume-based, it's scheme-based of that game. And that's just part of football. Football's going to football still, but he's going to be a player that's going to be dependable for years with upside. That's what you're really looking at with a good floor. I think T-Mac's a very safe player to look at long-term wise. If I'm a Panthers fan, I'm very excited about him. Very excited about him. I think talent-wise, I think it's underrated too because considering his game is going to be very ADOT heavy and still going to command a good target share, I think that's a feat people need to be more excited about, especially that in this prospect profile in his game. However, let me know what you think in comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.